Okay, so welcome to your episode one, I'd like to say, of IGCSE Economics. Before we dive into the first chapter of economics, let's at least understand what really is economics. Okay, so economics, guys, is not money. That is one of the number one mistake most students do, saying that, okay, it's maybe study of money. That's not economics. Economics is study of choices. Okay, so when I speak about study of choices, it's these choices that we understand and how these choices determine how the allocation of goods and services happen. Okay, more of this we'll understand when we actually go through the first topic, but this is what is economics. And your entire curriculum of IGCSE economics for CIE can be divided into, say, three broad sections. The first is microeconomics, the second is macro, and third is international. Your section one is just introductory. Section 2 and 3 falls under micro, as you see on the screen. Section 4 and 5 is your macro, and section 6 is international. Okay, so diving in the first chapter, which is the basic economic problem. So the basic economic problem is simply nothing but that there are finite resources but infinite ones, which leads to something called as scarcity, meaning there's not enough to meet everyone's wants. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's just say that your exams end today and your parents gave you a 1,000 rupee note. There are a lot of things that you could do out of it, which is you could go watch a movie, you could go do some shopping, you could eat in your favorite restaurant, but you cannot do all of it because, come on, it's just 1,000 rupees. And I mean, it'll not suffice for all that you want to do. So you have finite resource of 1,000 rupees note, and you have infinite ones, meaning there are several things that you'd like to do, but you cannot do all of it. So that's when there is scarcity. Now, because of scarcity, you are forced to make choices. So you are forced to make choices, which is you need to decide whether you want to go for that movie or whether you'd want to actually buy that t-shirt. So whatever choice you make, you're obviously letting go of the other options. So that is your opportunity cost. So we come to our next idea. Oopsies. Okay, we come to our next idea, which is opportunity cost. So let's just say if I picked to go shopping, the opportunity cost of me going shopping is the movie that I could have watched, or the opportunity cost of you guys watching this right now, watching this video right now, or studying is maybe the nap that you could have taken. So that is what is your opportunity cost. And opportunity cost, how do you define? Forwards, and you get your marks, which is it's the next best alternative for gone. Oops. Yeah. It's the next best alternative for gone. Excuse the misses. Okay. Now, we understood the entire finite resources, infinite ones, scarcity, forced to make choices, opportunity cost. Now, let's dive deeper into what are resources. So, resources in economics are nothing but your factors of production. So, factors of production, there are four factors of production that we have, which is land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Land is all your natural resources, which means, say, like a physical land, like a plot that is there, or there could be coal, or there could be cotton. All of this is nothing but your natural resources, or tomatoes. Let's consider, say, a pizza place. Tomatoes made me remind of that. So a pizza place, land for a pizza place will be tomatoes. Labor for pizza place will be the human resources used to actually make those pizzas, like chefs, waiters, etc. Capital is your man-made resources. So for the pizza place, it'll be the ovens, it'll be like the tables, the chairs, even the premises that they've taken, like the shop that they've bought. That's a man-made resource that will not come under land. Okay. And lastly, there's enterprise. Enterprise has an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is someone who manages all the other three factors of production. FOPs is factors of production. You don't have to use short forms in your exam. But here, FOPs is factors of production. So Entrepreneurs manages all the other three factors of production, and entrepreneurs also takes risk. So that's your basic economic problem. Just as an add-on, not something which is very specific to IGCSE, but I wanted to discuss why the word basic. Okay, so the word basic does not mean that it's not a grave problem. It is basic, does not mean that it is something which is like okay, like not a big problem per se. But the word basic means that all economies at all times face this problem, which is whether it's a developed nation like Japan or whether it's a developing nation like India or China, all of them face this economic problem. So that's when it's called as the basic economic problem. Okay, so yeah, when we talk about resources, resources are used to make goods and services. Goods and services, what's the difference? Goods are something which are tangible and services are something which are intangible. Your goods can be classified to two, which is economic goods and free goods. Economic goods are goods which where resources are needed to make it, and thereby they are limited in supply. So anything which is around you, so like I have a water bottle, that's an economic good because it needs resources to make it. Or say the watch that I'm wearing, that's an economic good, which is it again needs resources to actually make it, and it's limited in supply. Free goods, whereas, are goods which don't need resources. So something like sunlight or wind or water, all those are your free goods. But obviously, when the water is packaged, that is economic good because now you're again using resources to actually package it. So those are your two goods, which is economic goods and free goods. Now, because economic goods use resources to make it, these goods have an opportunity cost. Okay, so let me take a pen and mention. So these goods have an opportunity cost. Whereas free goods, they actually don't use any resources. So thereby, OC is not there. So there is no opportunity cost for the same. All right. Moving forward, we also have other classification of goods, which is capital goods and consumer goods. Capital goods are goods which are used by firms for production. So like your machineries, your equipment, all that fall under capital goods. Consumer goods are goods which are purchased by household for their satisfaction and for their end consumption. So if I get like a water bottle for myself, that's a consumer good, which is for my personal use and for my satisfaction. Okay, so this is how the first section is, or the first chapter is planned, and that's where your first chapter actually ends. We could actually take up certain MCQs for this chapter, like the behind the textbook MCQs. I'm using the Susan Grant textbook. Okay. I should have opened it. So I'm using the Susan Grant textbook, and we'll just look through a couple of questions. Yeah, it's visible. Yep. So why does scarcity exist? Scarcity exists because each year workers tend to produce lesser than previous. Nope. Machines wear out with time. No, you can always replace machineries or get new ones. There are not sufficient resources to produce all the products that people want. This is the correct one. And the last one, there's a limit to people's want. There's no limit to people's want. So the correct answer is C, if I can mark. Yes. Next is, why will scarcity continue to be a problem in the future? Prices will rise. Nope. Prices will rise, but that's not the reason. The quantity of resources will decline. That's there. Wants will continue to increase and world population will fall. So why will scarcity continue to be a problem is because wants will continue to increase. So even if the resources are there and resources continue to also decline, several resources continue to decline. Even with technology, if you get better and nicer resources or you find new resources, wants are something which keep on increasing. So thereby C is the correct answer. And lastly, which of the following is a free good? Inoculation provided without charge by the state. This is not a free good. Free good is not something which means free in the sense you don't have to pay for it. It simply means that you don't need resources to make it. Inoculation itself needs resources. So 3A is not correct. Products given away by supermarket to attract customers. It's a product, so resources are used to make it. So A and B goes out of your way. Recycled paper also use resources. So C also goes out of your way. And the correct answer is 3D, which is wind coming in from the sea. It's a free good because you cannot really use resources to actually make wind. So, yep, 3D is the correct one. Four-part question. Yeah, I think we pause at this.